Good morning reception. This video is for Miss Jones and Miss Noades Phonics group. You'll need a pen and paper or pencil and paper to write with, and please join in with the parts of the video that you can and pause and rewind if you need to. Let's begin by recapping the phase 2 and 3 phonemes that we've already learnt. K, N, S, A, D, R, I, F, U, G, J, W, Z, Y, Z, X. Okay, the speed sounds I'd like you to write today are F. You can decide if you want to write the digraph or just on one on its own. And the next one, D, D. And the next one, G, G. And the next one, W, W. Next one, X, X. And the last one, Y, Y. Good, well done. Pause the video if you need a bit longer to write them down. Okay, now let's practice our tricky words we've learnt. She, into, no, go, the, to, we,
and,
I, he,
in, it.
Okay, and the tricky words I'd like you to write today are to, and the next one, I, and the next one, into, and the last one is a high frequency word, it. Good, well done. Pause the video if you need a bit longer to write them down. Okay, now we're going to learn our tricky word of the day. Our tricky word of the day is be. My turn, be. Your turn. My turn, be. Your turn. My turn, be. Your turn. Good, well done. Can you think of a sentence when we might use the word be? For example, I want to be an astronaut when I grow up. Good, well done. Okay, let's learn the phoneme of the day. Now this phoneme is another digraph, and it actually has two different ways of saying it. So we're going to practice both of those today. So the first is a voiced sound, and it goes like this. Th. That means if you put your fingers on your neck, you can feel the vibrations in your throat. Th. My turn. Th. Your turn. My turn. Th. Your turn. My turn. Th. Your turn. Good. And then the second way is unvoiced. So again, if you have your fingers on your throat, you won't feel the vibrations. And this time your tongue you stick it out a lot more This is the only time you're allowed to stick your tongue out. So, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. Good. So the voiced is v and the unvoiced is f. So both of them you stick your tongue out a little bit, but the voiced is only a little bit v, and the unvoiced is a lot. Okay, you might want to practice in front of a mirror just so you can see the difference between the two sounds, and put your fingers on your throat so you can feel the vibrations. Okay, can you think of any words that have the th or the sound in them? Might be quite tricky to think of them, but father, weather, thick, thin, they've got the unvoiced, them, this, that, that's got the voiced. Did you think of anything different? Good. Okay, now we're going to have a practice at writing them. Remember, because it's a digraph, we want them to stay together, so we join them, and I'll show you how to do that on the next slide. Okay, let's have a practice at writing the digraph. So we know how to write the graphemes individually, but because it's a digraph, we want them to stay together and we join them. So I'll show you how to do that. So we go down the tower, then we go up to the horse's head, down to his hooves, over his back, then we cross the tower. Down the tower, up to the head, down to the hooves, over his back, then cross the tower. And again, down the tower, up to his head, down to his hooves, over his back, then cross the tower. Okay, so it's just remembering not to cross the tower until the end so that we can join the letters together. Good. Pause the video now and have a practice yourself. Okay, now let's practice segmenting using the phoneme that we've learnt today. So the first word that I want you to segment is thin. Thin. What phonemes can you hear in thin? So the first one is th, so that's the unvoiced, then I, and then n, th, I, n, thin. Good, well done. Okay, let's have a practice at writing that. So we go down the tower, then up to the top, down his head to the hooves, over his back, then across the tower, then I, down the insect's body, dot for the head, n, down noddy, over his net. Good, well done. Okay, and the next word I want you to segment is this. This. What phonemes can you hear in this? The, I, s, the, I, s, this. Well done. Okay, let's have a go at writing the word this. You can pause the video if you want to have a go at doing it by yourself, otherwise let's go through it together. So we go down the tower, then up to the top of the head, and then down to the hooves, over his back, across the tower, then I, down the insect's body, dot for the head, then s, slither down the snake. Super well done. Okay, and the next word I want you to segment is with. With. I went to the shop with my mum. With. So what phonemes can you hear? Say each one, and so that we know what to write. With. So w, I, f. Good. W, I, f. With. Well done. Okay, let's write the word with. You can pause the video now if you want to have a go at doing it by yourself. Otherwise, let's go through it together. So w, so we go down, up, then I, down the insect's body, dot for the head, and then th, down the tower, up to the top, and do the hooves, over his back, and then across the tower. Good, well done. Okay, now we've come to the last part of today's lesson. We're going to hold a sentence and then write it. So the sentence I want you to write today is quite a long one. He went on the path to get a moth. He went on the path to get a moth. He went on the path to get a moth. He went on the path to get a moth. We're going to need to say it in a northern accent to be able to spell it out. He went on the path to get a moth. A moth is like a little butterfly that comes out at night. He went on the path to get a moth. Okay, how many words are in our sentence today? He went on the path to get a moth. That's 9 words we've got to remember. He went on the path to get a moth. Good. Okay, let's have a go at writing our sentence. He went on the path to get a moth. You can pause the video now if you want to have a go at doing it by yourself, if you haven't already done so. Otherwise, let's go through it together. Okay, so our first word is a tricky word, he, and it needs to start with a capital letter because it's the start of a sentence. He went, w, down, up, slice off the top, scoop out the egg, down noddy over his net, and t, down the tower, across the tower. He went on, all the way around the orange, down noddy over his net. The is a tricky word. He went on the, and then path, or we have to say path to segment it correctly. So p, down the pirate's plait, around his face, all the way around the apple, down the leaf, and then th. That's it. And then to is another tricky word, so we should know that. He went on the path to get, g, around the girl's face, down her plait, give her a curl, slice off the top, scoop out the egg, and t, down the tower, across the tower, a, around the apple, down the leaf, and then moth, down, Maisie, mountain, all the way around the orange, and then th, down the tower, up to the head, down to the hooves, over his back, and then across the tower. Just about squeezed it in there. Hope you had enough room on your paper. And then don't forget your full stop on the end. Good, well done. Hope you've enjoyed today's lesson, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.